welcome to our school. My name's Jess. Like Margot said, I'm a Year 6 teacher. I also teach our Year 6 digital class as well, which you'll sort of figure out along the way as to how we've sort of utilised that this year. So I'm just going to talk to you about one of the processes, one of the sort of real-life learning processes that that I particularly really enjoy using with kids. I'm not sure if you've done any learning stuff?
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah. So sort of my favourite process that I like to use with my class, especially at the start of the year, would be the Think It Great process. I find it a really good one to get the children engaged in using different tools, thinking tools and things like that. I find it a really good one to start my year with, so that as I move through the year, you can start getting the children doing things independently and stuff like that, because you've done it as a whole class at the start of the year really, really well and thoroughly, and that way they can build on that and bring in different processes throughout the rest of the year.
So what like there's a couple of people that haven't done Lane.
Okay.
So by the great process.
Yeah, I'll show you. Well, we've got a picture of it up there, but basically what it's about is you take something, can be anything, whatever you're looking at. For example, for me, I like to look at a type of person at the start of the year. John talked a bit about the three sort of areas: identity, influence and impact, and I quite like those ideas. So at the start of the year I like to explore the word identity, and the way I do that is by picking a type of person. And what I mean is it might be an influential type person, or a heroic type person, or the kind of people we've got in the community, and from there sort of go through and investigate them by finding out what makes a great whatever kind of thing, and from there kind of model, kind of look at your own identity and see how you compare to these kind of people, and how you can, role models basically, those kind of people. I find it a really good way to hook children in and say, hey, I'm a really hardworking person, I'm a really I'm a problem solver, I'm this, I'm that, and you can kind of compare yourself to sort of more everyday people out in the community and see that, yeah, hey, I can be that too, if you kind of get my drift. Anyway, so the Think It Great, you sort of start, you choose someone. Well, for me, I came up with the idea of I am legend. I thought, legendary people would be quite a cool way to get the kids to look at different types of people in the community and explore their characteristics and see if they've got any of the same kind of characteristics. So that's where I started. I sort of thought, yeah, I am legend. It's a really strong sort of topic, which it's going to run through the whole year with my class in different ways, which I'll explain in a sec. So I thought about that, and then we also kind of looked at the theme, or I don't know if that's the right word, of connection, like this idea of connection this year. Did you mention that?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, overriding thing.
Our overriding kind of thing about connection, and that can be in any way, shape or form. As a classroom teacher, you kind of take that however you believe it to be, and take that sort of threading through your classroom program as well. So I had this kind of word connection floating around. I had I am legend floating around. I quite like legendary people and what they do, and then identity. So these are these kind of things I'm thinking about in my head. And this is right at the start of the year, and I kind of don't know where I'm going with it. So this here is like sort of your real life learning journey process, and within that you follow the Think It Great. So there's two things happening here. The very first thing is your immersion, and you're kind of thinking, right, how am I going to hook these kids into these three ideas? I don't know where I'm going with it at the moment, but I'm just going to chuck some activities at them, and things and resources and all sorts of stuff, and see what we come up with, basically. Just, roughly, that's kind of what happened. So, to immerse the children in these three things, I kind of looked at real legends. When I say that, I mean like reading, like Maori legends, so they had sort of a station where the children are reading about them. They're looking at other sort of legendary people, so it might be on the computer, they're reading about different, Sir Edmund Hillary, the kind of people we know are quite, legendary, and what they've done or achieved, that kind of thing. So there's a station about different people like that. Connection-wise, again, that's where the Maori legends came in, because they kind of connect us with our history. At this stage, I really, I didn't know what was going to come of it. What else did we do?
Did you do it for a whole day, like the experimental day there?
Yes, yeah.
So
this yeah, for my immersion, sometimes they can last longer. Like at the moment, I'm sort of at the end of 2 weeks in my sort of second cycle of this, or 2 weeks worth of immersion type activities. So it really depends. But this was kind of just a day, and they just had all sorts of bits and pieces happening, and it was chaotic, and it was quite exciting because the children were saying, "Oh, what does this mean?" And they'll go to the next station. What's that got to do with that? And they're trying to figure out what they can make of all this stuff that we're sort of covering.
How many stations did you have, Jess?
I think there was probably 5 or 6 different things happening. Yeah, and then of course the identity thing, so I sort of got them looking at birds actually, because I quite liked the idea of them sort of looking at a type of bird, and that's kind of linked to the Maori thing as well, and sort of comparing themselves, if I was a bird, what would it be, what I be like, you know, I had personalities of birds and they kind of matched up. Just all sorts of strange things really. It was one of my weirder things. Anyway, it seemed to work in the end, as you'll see. So from there we sort of do this is the kind of sheet that I got the children to fill in and just put all their wonderings and discoveries down on, and from there we were kind of able to map out where we're going, you know, what did they come up with from this day, what sort of questions did they have, that kind of thing.
So, Jess, with your immersion, do you get your children to do the, the positive, negative, the so what type things?
Yeah, sometimes. This is the first time. Sometimes I used to have a wonderings and discoveries sheet, you know, and they'd sort of put anything they'd wondered or discovered down, or and sort of a PMI of the day or whatever. But this is the first year I kind of just gave them a blank sheet and said, right, just blah, tell me anything. So, you know, these kids have drawn things and just whatever, pictures, whatever they've made connections with. Another thing was kites as well. I actually got them making kites on that day because, again, back to the Maori thing, Maori kites traditionally tell a story, and they were, you know, used for fighting and that kind of thing, so they actually represented an identity of a tribe or whatever, you know, so that was kind of another link in there, you know, just random things, like it was, yeah, it's very interesting. So from there, you sort of do your brainstorming and questioning type part, because that's going to help sort of shape your focus. Meanwhile, in the background, you know, I sort of know that I'd like them to investigate legends more, so I'm hoping that a lot of their questions will come up with, oh, legends, people, da. So, if, for example, this question came up, you know, how can legends of the past and the present help me become someone great in the future? That ended up sort of being a summary of all this stuff. That was kind of what guided us in the end. Other questions the children had, you know, do all legends start out like me? Are legends born or made? That was quite an interesting one. Just trying to think what else they said. Yeah, I don't know, all sorts of things, and sort of have them displayed so the children can keep sort of referring to them and see if we're sort of finding out those answers as we go along. Because the main sort of thing, or the question we decided on was this: we want to find out what makes a legend, and
so you already had that firmly fixed in your mind?
I kind of knew, only because I knew I wanted to take the children through this process, and it's worked for me in the past that it be a type of person that we investigate, so I kind of knew I wanted to be down that track of it, so that they could model sort of their identity against a legendary person and kind of see that they're, you know, really awesome too, and they've got all those, that everyday people have got those kind of characteristics, you know. Yeah, so from there, so I still haven't quite started the actual Think It Great yet, so just on this journey we're just sort of immersing and questioning, and from there is when you sort of start your actual Think It Great. This is where my planning sort of came up. One of the kids actually made a really cool comment which stuck with us throughout that whole term, which was, legends leave their mark on the world, we can too. That was just a comment that a kid threw out, you know, and I'm constantly recording, you know, when you hear these things, and that actually basically was the backbone of our whole term from there, you know, and that's just from all these sort of things that we've been doing and stuff, so I thought that was really cool. So as you can see, like, this is my actual planning, this is what my planning looks like, and then to the side you have, you know, more literacy, more breakdown and stuff. So this basically is sort of what we did.
So when do you do your actual think chart for your personal rigour?
So that comes kind of next, really. And because I've done them in the past, I sort of know what to put in each box, you know, so it's very quick for me, you kind of just change it out. Like last year it was heroes, you know, what makes a great hero. So same sort of things. that's kind of when I do that and just make sure that's all ready. Yeah, so, and meanwhile,